Welcome to the Brutus Monroe channel. Annie Collins here with a Mother's Day card. Let's go over the products I used to create this card. The Brutus Monroe Fancy Foliage die set. We'll use the little tulips here and the berries over here. Now this has lots of foliage and flowers that you can die cut. The Mother's Day stamp set, we'll be using this for the Happy Mother's Day sentiment, and two little bees, this one and this one. This is a nice stamp set. It has beautiful flowers and butterflies and several sentiments. The Spring Sayings die set, and we're going to use this rectangle here. It's a nice stitch rectangle. We're going to bring in some Chroma mist. We're going to use a Lilac purple, coral, Bumblebee yellow, and turquoise. These we'll be using to color our dies. Okay, we're going to bring in some Chroma Glaze in the nice beautiful new color of yellow, our Detail Raven ink, and we'll be working on our stick and stamp mat. I'm going to bring in some Canson watercolor panels here. This larger one will be for our greenery, and then one will be the pink coral, and the other one will be the purple for our berries. I also have another piece of Canson watercolor paper, and that'll be for our Chroma Glaze. Our card base is made from Not Your Mama's cardstock, and I have a Spellbinder's rectangle die from my stash. So let's clear our desk and get started. First, I'm going to pull in our stick and stamp mat, place the biggest panel, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 here, and I'm going to apply the Chroma Glaze to it. Trying to get a nice even coverage, and I love the texture and shine this will give to our card panel. I'm going to set it aside to dry. While that's drying, I will then proceed to color the other areas, other panels for our card. I'm going to bring in my spray box, and I'm going to spray one of the smaller pieces here with the coral, using my heat tool to dry in between. And this will add nice texture to our panel, and I like that. That'll give some nice differentiation to our flowers. Next, I spray the lilac purple onto the other small piece. These are like 3 by 4 pieces. Same thing, heat tool. Now that those two are set and dry, I'm going to mix a little bit of the turquoise and the bumblebee yellow to get a nice soft green here. There is a Chroma mist in green. Unfortunately, I do not have it at my stash at this time. I'm going to heat set this, and now to keep it the same texture like the other two panels, I'm just going to spray a little bit of the same Chroma mist mix onto it, just to give it, again, that texture. So I'm going to get the dies out and die cut several of the green stems, several berries, and tulips for our card. I went ahead and cut those off screen. And now I'm going to adhere them to our card panel. And this is our Chroma Glaze panel, which is now dry. And I'm going to put 2 berries sets along with the tulips to the left corner, upper left corner, and the lower right corner. I'm going to repeat the process. Right now I'm washi taping down my die because I know I want to keep within the margins of the die. So I'm going to use that to cut the panel down. So I'm going to keep adhering these on here, trimming away anything I do not need, and I'll go back in and trim anything extra here if needed. So I'm going to cut away any of these extra little berries that I can use for another card, or I was thinking at first I was going to add them to this card, keep layering, but then I just saved them to the side. Once I have that removed, I'm going to center my die, my rectangle die here, and I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Now I have an opening in the center and the stitch detail all around this panel. I'm going to adhere this panel onto my card base, and then I'm going to stamp the sentiment Happy Mother's Day in that middle rectangle. So I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. I'm going to place that sentiment right there, get it as centered as possible, and I'm also going to stamp my bumblebees while we're at it. I'm going to put one on the upper right and one on the lower left. And I'll be bringing in the Raven Detail ink to stamp my sentiment and my 2B images. I'm going to quickly stamp this on here. I'm going to use my microfiber cloth just to apply even pressure across the card. Went ahead and stamped my sentiment once again. Want it to be nice and crisp. And our card is complete. So again, we brought in the Spring Sayings dies for our rectangle, our stitch rectangle panel. The Mother's Day stamp set for our sentiment and the 2 little bees. Our fancy foliage die set, we used the tulips and the berries. Our Chroma mist in turquoise, and we used that with the Bumblebee yellow to create our green. Coral, Bumblebee yellow, and a lilac purple. And of course our Chroma glaze in yellow. Our Raven Detail ink, and like always, I'll have everything listed in the description box below with links to the shop. Thank you for being here, and I hope you found some inspiration today.